Hey everyone, Pat Spielman, founder of Uptics here. And in this video, I want to talk to you about the 4 common but vital B2B sales mistakes and how to fix them. And so every business needs new customers and clients to keep their doors open, but you got to ask yourself, is keeping your doors open enough? And what would happen, if the top 2 or maybe 3 customers that you have called you up and said that they're going to leave your service? And unfortunately, about 90% of businesses are only 1 or 2 phone calls away from, things going south really, really quickly and being in a bad situation. So in this video, I just want to tackle 4 common things that you can be aware of and really how to fix them to get yourself out of that situation. So let's get into it. The first one is having no process and sales taking a back seat. A lot of times with business, we're focused on operations and, sales and marketing and things like that typically take a back seat because we're sitting there trying to focus our time on taking care of our customers and, hiring employees, replying to emails. We're getting distracted all day, and so these things are really easy to take a back seat. So some of the challenges that you might have in not being able to focus on having a structured sales process are really just time, money, access to information, and having the right people. So some solutions to that in the time category is to implement a process. I know it takes a little bit of time to get started, but implementing a process is really going to help save you time in the long run because you can set up systems and automation to help you save the time long term so that you can really spend your time getting customers, but also not take a focus off of taking care of your existing customers. The next is really just making an effort. And, whether that's just blocking out time in your calendar and just, putting your head down and building out a process for this stuff, it's just something you have to do, especially this day and age. Competition is tough, and it's really easy for people to get attention, through advertising and using sales automation systems and stuff like that, that if you're not doing it, not maximizing and making that effort, then it's really easy for it, your competition or just people to forget about you. So the next one is to just learn more. Free resources. We do have a free university to train people on sales techniques. We have an accelerator and sales automation course that helps people with this, completely free. There's a lot of other good information out there, YouTube videos, other free training, stuff like that. You don't always have to spend money to be able to focus on this stuff. And the last one here as a solution is to just hire somebody, delegate it. Initially, if you're the business owner, you're probably going to have to get this stuff set up yourself. But then if you implement that system and you have a process, it's a lot easier to delegate this stuff out to somebody else that can manage it for you. And then you just, you hold a meeting and, once a week or, once a month, whatever it might be, to just check on your, KPIs and see where things are at so that, you can still focus on the things that you like to do. So that's mistake number 1, is just not having a process and sales taking a back seat. The next one is neglecting low-hanging fruit. So what do I mean by this? Low-hanging fruit, if you think about, all the times you've had a sales meeting in the past, how many times have you forgot to just follow up with somebody after that meeting because you got busy? It's not like you're doing it intentionally, but all of those prospects that you've met with in the past, I call those low-hanging fruit because you've already met with them, you've already had an introduction, and now you just need to maximize that lead that you had previously by nurturing them and going after them in terms of just, consistently keeping your brand in front of them and maybe inserting some call to actions to, hop on another call or, schedule another sales meeting. A lot of people, when they're presented, when you have a sales opportunity, it's really easy to always focus on the new stuff, go out and find a new lead. But what about maximizing the existing ones you have? That's the cheapest source of generating new sales, is going to be to focus on the people that you already have in your pipeline instead of spending money on new leads. So if some of the challenges you might face if you do have limited leads, this is going to be a really good strategy for you because, again, you need to maximize every single opportunity that you have. And if you don't have a follow-up process in place and no long-term nurturing, there's no way for you to maximize those opportunities with your leads. So you need to maximize each opportunity. With that, though, how you do it is to build a follow-up cadence. So to hold yourself accountable, why not use some technology or software to help you build a follow-up cadence and put them into a drip sequence, something that helps you, reminds you that you need to follow up with this person, or automatically sends an email, or automatically sends an SMS message. You can set up these systems really easily so that you don't have to rely on your memory, because you have so many things going on in your life and business. There's no possible way that you can remember every single little thing. So if you just built that process and put that person into a follow-up cadence with a drip campaign, it's going to solve all your challenges. And now you can do a lot more with less. So that's mistake number 2, is neglecting low-hanging fruit. The next one is not using enough channels. And what I mean by this is most people typically rely for their new opportunities on 1 or 2 platforms or mediums or avenues of getting business. 2 of the most popular we see are people just relying on networking and referrals to drive their new leads. And one of the biggest problems with this, it's really risky. You can't scale it, and it requires a ton of your time. And so if you're relying on networking or referrals as a way to generate business, I call this the accidental growth strategy, because networking and referrals, you can't really, there's nothing you can do to really control it aside from, going to a networking meeting, and you could put out like a consistent referral campaign. That's not as accidental, but it's still not enough. And so you don't want your sales to be accidental. And in this approach, relying on networking and referrals, or maybe if you're just relying on cold calling, or you're just relying on cold email, these are really risky moves, because, for instance, if with email, let's just say you start landing in spam and all your leads dry up, you're not going to have a way to continuously grow your business. So it's really risky. So some solutions you could add. If you're not doing email, you could add email. If you're not doing cold calling, you could add cold calling. If you're not doing ads, you could do ads. If you are doing ads and you have it figured out on one platform, maybe you start figuring out another platform. You don't necessarily want to take all your time away from, the things that you're doing and doing well, but incrementally you want to start increasing your landscape in terms of the mediums and channels that you're using to get customers. So it's really important with this, although I'm saying you're not using enough channels, it's important to not lose focus on the ones that you're doing well. And until you have that delegated and that system in place, you don't want to add too many channels at once. You want to focus on what you're good at and incrementally, slowly add more as you go. Otherwise, you'll get overwhelmed and you'll lose track of the things that you've done in the past, and then you won't get as good at results there. So you need to really have your systems and process dialed in. The last one is obviously with social media. If you're not using social media or some sort of strategy with Facebook or LinkedIn, specifically if you're B2B, then that's something you definitely want to take a look at. So this is mistake number 3, just not using enough channels. And the last one is not making time. So I know we're all really busy. Our phones are blowing up all day. You're getting a million emails, text messages, push notifications. And again, you're still taking care of customers. You're focusing on marketing, sales, but not making enough time is probably, maybe I should have made this mistake number 1, but I wanted to kind of save the best for the last. Not making enough time is really going to lead to all these other challenges. So if you don't make time to do this, then you're just not going to ever get yourself into a position to really automate and control your sales process in a method that can drive you consistent, new business every single month. So some of the challenges obviously you face are managing employees, taking care of customers, interruptions, distractions, and some of the things you need to do to hedge against this is to time block. Time block is one of the best ways that you can do to really just focus on this stuff. If it's 30 minutes or an hour a day, something to that effect is enough to just slowly start focusing on this stuff and being more efficient. One of the things I do is I try to schedule a little bit shorter meetings. So instead of 60-minute meetings, I might do 30 or 45-minute meetings. That's one thing that I do. I try to keep my calendar really, really light on meetings, and so that I can focus on the things that I want to do for marketing and sales to grow the business. Meetings get to be one of those things where you can get kind of stuck in a rabbit hole, and it just never ends. So yeah, at some point you got to cut it off. And then of course, this is everyone's favorite, I'm sure, is work a few more hours. Not that we need more work to do in our lives. Some of these things down the road is if you do set them up, you're going to be able to reduce your work hours. But initially you may have to work a few extra hours, to get this stuff set up, but it's an investment. It will pay off in the long run, and it'll help you grow your business in a fashion that you don't have to worry about it quite as much, and you have consistent new leads and new business coming in the door. So that's my 4 mistakes for businesses that really can sacrifice your growth, and not paying attention to these 4 things is really the starting point to implementing, a sales process that can help you grow your business. So pay attention to these 4. If you're having these challenges, then I would definitely focus on these. And if you need resources or you need tools to help you, implement these processes or streamline or automate your systems, then check out Uptics.io. And we've got a free university to help you implement some sales courses. And we have software to help you implement automation into your business. So I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you in the next video.